that I have something in my mind, and Vivek is going to talk about this in the time to come. So they are ready for that.
I appreciate that.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, yesterday was an excellent session, ma'am.
Yes.
We really enjoyed it too.
In fact, every session you will say is better than the other, because
Yes.
the whole session is planned like that. And we have not kept anything away from you people, because that's why I planned 52 sessions actually. It's too much actually. Probably I will not do that next year because it's very taxing. Because we have not only given you the education part, but also leadership part, also the educational research part, and also integrating and making curriculum. We are going to make you do the module of the curriculum. So it's all in all, you can easily say that IPS should give the master's degree to you, because it's not just a certificate. It's not just a fellowship. It's a master of health profession education.
That we can feel, ma'am.
The
quality is that.
Madam, in the luckiest,
also,
ma'am. In the
and
groups also, we were talking the same thing.
Yeah.
The quality of the education we are getting is
it's
really very high level. And thanks to
I
you,
had
ma'am.
a long chat with our dean yesterday regarding all this, and I told him that all this I want to now implement at the college. So I had a long chat with him, and he was also impressed with some screenshots which I shared.
See,
ma'am, I wanted to ask,
if you really want to implement, get 2-3 people to do the course, so that they will be able to implement it. That is how we could, because the same thinking 11 people should be there.
Madam, next year you will have
Yes,
at least 200 people applying for your course. I
assure
you,
institution, ma'am, also.
Madam, people are already
100
asking.
people apply, but 200
Madam, other people.
200, 300 will apply, ma'am, next year.
Even
I am thinking that if you all are, like, I am carefully observing who is speaking, what is you doing, I'm noting it down, not to scare you, just to note, because what happens is, I want to start one more center somewhere else. Like I can start in Gujarat, or I can start in, say, Chandigarh or Delhi somewhere. So this is carefully done, because we also can share some video recordings of the talks. We can share some faculty to come in. Because if I don't do this, next 5 years, I want dental education to change. And that you are going to help me. Are you not my lifetime partners?
Definitely.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, even non-prosthodontists are asking that whether we are allowed or not.
So now I want to start a not non-prosthodontist. I want to start a course with integration. So that I was just thinking how to do it. I want to get the associations together and make one dental education forum. Like, it is not, I am not under anybody, but all of them can definitely suggest. Like IPS has really given a lot of trust in me and given me a free hand to do what is to be done. And of course, I'm not a person to ever let down that trust what is there. So they are also real. I conducted 8 to 10 core group meeting with the people in IPS, like president, secretary, past presidents, and people who know little about education. But most of them were telling we are more hardcore practitioners, because see, ultimately in the end of the day, the men folk want to earn money. So the money is in the practice. So that makes this thing. But I'm happy there are so many men who joined the course. I was not able to identify male educationist. Only 2 I got. And usme se ek hi tika mere paas. Because there's a lot of work for the faculty also. I won't allow them to take pedagogy. I will ask them to do interactivity, handhold them. We have shown them the LMS, shown them this thing. And also the staff. The most faculty are over enthusiastic according to me. We are very lucky to have good faculty who have come forward, who have, see, they're spending a lot of time on this. So that is an appreciation. Great, that
we can see that
they are involved in 2 or 3 sessions with me. Some are involved in 4 sessions with me. But that 4 session task, what I get done is much more. Yeah. So that's the thing. You will see in the project also very enthusiastic group. You just now met Smita.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah. There are 4. I don't know why people have not joined.
Almost 40 are there.
40 is sure.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hi, good evening. Hi, Raj Lakshmi.
Hi, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hi, Raji.
Yeah. We'll have your introduction when Ashwini madam starts the session next time.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I think next Tuesday, no?
Yes.
We don't need.
अरे सर
Hello.
तुम्हाला फोन लावत होती मी मला विसरले की काय
अरे मी आलो ना. I am there for 5 minutes. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Sir is our main advisor, na? Sir and Hiral madam. We started designing the course along with them. Sir has a huge experience in starting FAMER in India, and that too through GSMC. And I will say that he's a pioneer of education in our country, and he's done very quietly lot of work in education. And I don't even have he has sent the biodata, but I'm going to talk about him today.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, all of you.
Good evening.
Should we start,
Good
madam?
evening, sir.
Because
Yes,
we
sir,
only
we
have
can
a half
start.
an
We can
hour.
start, sir. We can start. So I'll just, good evening to all of you. The FAMER, the project group has joined today because we are starting the introduction of educational projects. Sir will give a very good insight into it. Let me introduce Dr. Avinash Supe. Dr. Avinash Supe is a gastroenterology surgeon. And sir basically is involved with KEM Hospital for about 40 years and a very ardent educationist. Sir is as good in his subject as he is in education. And he also has recently got many awards. He's not only a BC Roy award he got about a couple of years back, but now he also had the best reviewer award from our education journal, academic medicine, no sir?
Medical education.
Medical education. And also there are so many firsts for sir. Way back in 2007, when education was in a preliminary stage, he started GSMC FAMER. And that GSMC FAMER is I think the grandfather of all other FAMER regional branches. And sir is such a person that he designed the course, brought it to a municipal hospital is not easy. He also got that center done so beautifully on the GSMC terrace, a completely dedicated center wherein we could sit around the table in the physical courses, to sit around the table and discuss. And sir pulled in and roped in so many people. The FAMER people from Philadelphia used to come, and also the local faculty from India, local Maharashtra and from the India. And slowly they have evolved the course into an international level course. Sir is lectured very, very, everywhere in the world. I cannot imagine a place where he has not lectured. And sir is now working after his retirement at Hinduja Khar as a medical director. And you must read sir's biography. Sir, you must share that link with us, soft link.
Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah. Sir,
Can we start, madam?
Yes, you can start. I will give you that multiple screen also option. You can share the screen.
Thank you, Dr. Nagda, for that wonderful introduction. But more than that, I must tell you that I have worked with Dr. Nagda, and it was really pleasure for me to work with Dr. Nagda. And let me just share it with me. Sure. At the outset, let me really congratulate all of you for taking this course, because this is course for not only education, but it is upgrading yourself as a faculty, and it requires a lot of motivation and hard work to do this. So we have only about 30 minutes. It's not a big time. So I'm going to only introduce to you few concepts in the educational research. And as over the next few days, we have 58 sessions, as Madam said. We will unroll the whole concepts of educational research. But today I'm going to give you a brief outline what an educational research is. Are you able to see my slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, we will be concentrating mainly on the three things. What are basic principles of educational research? What are the appropriate tools for data collection and analysis in educational research, which all of you will be using into your projects? And appreciate the purpose of using mixed method of research in educational project. This is a fairly new concept over last 15 years which has come. And I think we all should try to do that where you can use, because if you do this, there's a good chance that you'll be able to publish that article into one of the best journals. So if you, just a minute. Okay, are you able to see my slides?
Sir.
Hello?
No, sir.
No,
sir.
Okay, I think there's some, just give me a minute. I'll just again share it with you. Okay, are you able to see my slides now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, whenever we talk about any research concept, there's something called as a problem solving loop. That means you have a problem, you explore and create ideas about that problem, you explore that information, you select the best idea, build the test and that idea. What is important in the research is testing that idea, whether it really works. Then you evaluate whether it was successful or not successful. And that is what you call as a problem solving loop. And this is all about research, whether you want to do even a vegetable at home or try new biryani, I think you go through this problem solving loop. So I want to ask you, how does educational research differ from your clinical or dental research? Place your answers in the chat box so that I can get, because we do not have time, I'm not going to really break you into many rooms. But can anybody tell me what is the difference between the educational research and dental or clinical research? You can put few answers and I'll just pick up few answers. I'll give you about a half a minute or 1 minute to really understand this. More of theoretical, that's what you said. Okay. Anything else anybody wants to say? Methodology is innovative teaching. Okay. Fine. Anybody else wants to say anything? Niranjan, thank you for putting that comment, and Devi Prasad. Research related mainly to education. Very nice. That's true. Structured for particular classes. Clinical research is patient oriented. Very nice. And educational research is majority based on inputs from students. Not necessarily students, but many other things. Clinical is patient oriented. Education research is teaching methodology. Okay. There's a lot of difference between methodology and research, though they are related to each other. Okay. So let's understand that there is some confusion about what is educational research. We will keep that question little away. What is the difference between educational research and dental research? But educational research is a rigorous, systematic investigation of any aspect of education, which includes student learning, teaching methods, teacher training, and classroom dynamics. It talks about environment, it talks about the theories of education, it talks about the methods, teacher training. Anything which is related to the education is educational research. But then let's slowly go into the next question, that is, what is the purpose of educational projects? Can somebody again think what is the various purposes of educational research? Why do you want to really do educational research today? Why do you want to improve dental education? Design a curriculum. Very nice. Very nice. Design a curriculum. Improve the quality of education. Very nice, Lalit. Then to refine yourself. Improve teaching methodology. Bring a change. Very nice. Meet the needs of the day. Very nice. I'm very happy that you are now become actively putting application-based learning. Uniformity in methods of teaching. Standardize. Okay, very nice. Innovate new ideas and update the knowledge. Okay, new concepts. Fine, perfectly fine. I mean, these are various ideas, but let's go one by one, little more into details. It is to explore understanding of something. You know, we all are teachers, so we understand why some students do well, some students don't do well, why some lectures do well, why some of the lectures don't do well. Then describe what was done and what is perceived by the students. That is observational. Then justify whatever I did it work? I introduced this new curriculum. Maybe you have undergone this training. Did it really work for you? Did it really improve your teaching? Did it improve your personality? Did it improve your research? Explain why and how did it work? That is one step ahead. You know, having that it has improved and then explaining why it has improved. And then based on your observations, you can predict. Just a minute. And influence others by showing application. So these are the various purposes of educational projects which you are taking. And I'm sure you look at your own projects, there'll be one of these projects which you will be taking. Now, the next question which we are going to ask you is that what are the challenges that you anticipate while conducting your educational research? You know, I mean, it's all of you are going to conduct. What are you perceiving as a challenge in your own setup? Do you have any idea what is your worry? What is resistance to accept change? Excellent. I think that is the first thing everybody thinks. Acceptance. Yes, you are worried that whether I go back, whether people will really accept my research. Lack of updated knowledge and teamwork. Cooperation from others. Acceptance at institution. Resources. We'll have enough resources. Then continuity. Unbiased feedback. Funding. You know, all these are standard challenges to get a constructive feedback. You know, yesterday I was there for some session and Dr. Chari was all the time to talk with. You must have one person who will give you a constructive feedback. Resources and funds, poor acceptance and faculty support and approval. You know, right choice of research topics. You know, these are some of the challenges which you rightly said, but let me summarize them. First is perception, interpretation, expectations about outcomes. You know, every participant like you feels what is going to come out of that interaction amongst participants. Difficult to get controlled setting in education. You know, education is like a laboratory. It's not a controlled setting. You know, students are ultimately humans. You cannot say that one group of students, other group of students, you are doing a randomized control trial. And then students are going to talk with each other. There's going to be some amount of mixing. Then RCT is a rarity in education. If you are able to do one RCT in your life, I think you should feel very happy in education. Then classroom environment, human behavior. These are the variables. All students are not same. And that is not under your control. And of course, the material is verbose, descriptive material. Sometimes you take time to understand education. And of course, time, possibility, all that question, whatever you said is very true. So these are the challenges of education which you are going to have. And so proving cause and effect relationship is difficult. What is more important that you do one thing, there's something called as a confounding factors. There are many things which influence. Let me tell you, some student comes first in his class. Now, can you really say just because I taught him, he came first? It's very difficult to say. You may take a credit, but you cannot prove cause and effect relationship. That is very difficult. So the biggest difference when you normally talk about any social science research and other research is qualitative research is more common in education than the quantitative research, which is common in our clinical science. Of course, you can use qualitative research in both places, but qualitative research is something which you should really understand. So I'm going to spend some time on qualitative research. Your concepts have to be very clear in this understanding. So everything that can be counted does not count, and everything that counts cannot be counted. You know, very nicely said by Albert Einstein. So he said there is many more things which are beyond counting. So qualitative research involves finding out what people think and how they feel. And any rate, what they say, they think, and how they feel. So it is the way you look at it, what they really speak rather than the numbers. So it is about feelings, impressions, words rather than numbers. Why and how rather than how much. and how many. You're not talking about numbers, you're talking about the quality. Okay. So let me give you an example. If you see a shot, normally in the commentary, they say that has gone over 300 feet. That is a quantitative perspective. Wow, that was such an exquisite shot, a poetry in motion. When he talks about the kind of the way he describes, that becomes a qualitative perspective. So the approaches to any kind of an inquiry or a question, normally there is a theory, which we normally say, yes, there's a theory. You create a hypothesis. That means you say, this is better than that. Then you get observations and you confirm that this is better or this is not better than the other. This is the way normally we do conventional research. But when we think about, this is called as a deductive approach. But there's another approach that you look at all the observations. You look at how the deaths have occurred in corona. You look at the patterns. You look at a tentative hypothesis. Yes, because of the oxygen, less patients have died. And then you bring out a theory that COVID caused hypoxygenation, it caused the lung damage, and then you go. This is called as an inductive approach. Now, in education, we can use both the approaches, but we use more inductive approach. And that is very important for you to understand that the approach which we use in education is slightly different than what we use into a regular kind of a practice. I'll give you an example, simple example. Let's take an example which is of our hospital. Effect of breakfast on performance of resident doctors. It's a simple research question. So what will be your steps in this? If you go by the first approach, that is deductive approach, breakfast enhances performance. This is your theory. Students who are eating breakfast perform well than those who are not eating well. That is your hypothesis. So you gather data. How many people eat breakfast? What is their performance and all? What is your type and all? And then you say either the breakfast improves performance or it does not improve the performance. This is a deductive approach of doing any project. You are trying to establish relationship between the variables. There are many variables, the type of breakfast, when he takes it, does not take, and then you try to see whether it really works. Let's take another. You notice that some residents, a minute, I'll just, sorry, give me a minute. Some residents who do not write patients' orders properly are those who have skipped breakfast. You notice in OPD, your performance is poor. So those who are performing well seem to have taken a breakfast. That's a pattern. So poor eating habits lead to poor performance. Then you gather more data from the clinicians. You take interviews of people. You ask dietitians. You ask canteen personnel. And then you come to the theory that is breakfast enhances performance. This is such a simple example, but it tells you how you can really build up a kind of a theory from observations. And that's what exactly happens in educational research. So if you really look, so you are concerned about understanding the situations and events rather than trying to prove your variable connections. So that's the difference between the educational research and the conventional or qualitative versus quantitative. Now let's look, let me go back. So objective is, what are the quality, when should we use qualitative research? When you want to understand something, okay, variables cannot be quantified. Phenomena have been studied and best understood in natural setting and studying unique situations. For one of my masters, I did a very nice study, which was a mixed method study. So first, quantitative tells you the numbers, qualitative tells you why. And you try to understand it, and I will talk about it later, about how we use these methods together so that we can get the best answers in this. So qualitative research, truth is the eye of the beholder, where the experience by the players and no independent reality. While quantitative research is distilled by the objective researcher and an independent reality. So we have to look at both these research in a very different way. But social science research is something like, social science means educational research or management research. There a lot of people are involved. and it is experienced by the players, and therefore it is the way you look at it, why of that particular research. So there are different ways of going into this. Now, as I said, quantitative research is to test the hypothesis, cause effect, artificial or willing to manipulate conditions to study phenomena. That means what? You are giving one person a test, another person you are not giving a test. One person you are giving a course, another person you are not giving course. So you are artificially creating situations. Role of a researcher is detached. You're looking at it as an observer. And generalization, you try to strive to generalize. You try to bring out some conclusion which you say, this is applicable to everyone. But qualitative research is slightly different. It is you generate a theory out of observations and you try to explain the relationship, and you are immersed into that situation, and you generalize only in a particular context. That means local college, or it's unique to your research or understanding. Now, why it is important? Because, see, for example, your students are not doing well in particular subject. You have to understand what are the factors which are affecting them. Article from academic medicine is not going to solve that question. So you need to do that action research, which could be qualitative. You have to talk with them, get answers to them. Then only you will be able to change and make some kind of an innovation into this. Same way, the sampling is randomized, fixed, or large sample. While in a qualitative research, you want to solve the problem. Therefore, it's a purposive sample. And the data, the numbers, variables versus words. And again, the data collection tools here are questionnaires, rating scales, especially for educational research. While in qualitative research, it is interviews. You look at the written documents, you look at the case summaries, you look at the open-ended exploratory questions. And data analysis is statistical in quantitative, while it's qualitative, it is interpretive or subjective. Now, these are two different modes, and that's where you find quantitative and qualitative research is a difference. So if you look at the data collection methods in an thing, usually you would like to use these methods like questionnaires, interviews, rating scales, psychometric scale. These are all quantitative data. You get numbers. If I do a rating scale, I'll get a number. But if you see qualitative research, these are different. Can you really tell me what are the data collection methods for qualitative research?
Yes,
Can anybody say one or two?
Observation.
Observation, very nice.
Interviews.
Interviews.
Very nice.
Medical
Focus group.
Open-ended
Focus
question.
group.
Surveys.
Question is.
Very nice. Focus
Survey,
group discussions. Okay. So these are something. Interviews, focus groups, observation, diaries. Look at the diaries people write. Portfolio. Then the way people really write their own interpretations, reflections, self-reports, documentary analysis, stimulated recall, critical incidence analysis. All these are words, and these are qualitative studies. So that's way you would like to bring in large amount of data, which normally you don't consider it's very valuable. But if you start looking at this data, there are a lot of observations you can really do, a lot of analysis you can do, and then you can build the theories and hypothesis. So if you really look, quantitative is more of an planned studies. Qualitative studies can be also planned, but it is mainly looking from behind rather than looking from front. So that is something which all of us should really understand. So so the most important is there are variety of data gathering approaches. So let's go to the next level of understanding. There are a lot of similarities, like you identify the problem and publish report. And you go through all these cycles, design a study, gather data, analyze, and draw conclusions, which I'm sure all of you would like to go through, and you will be going through this. There are now computer-assisted data analysis for qualitative also. But I think what is more important is it is still the most important. It is still better to do by manually also. Now let's go on to little higher level and find out how do we really see that your quantitative research is a good quality. Now all of you know that those we have done, we always talk about validity. I'm sure there'll be sessions on you where you consider whatever the research you have done is a valid research. It is scientifically based. Any paper published, they'll ask you about validity. They'll ask you about reliability. Is it reproducible? And is it objective? These are the questions which you'll ask. But when we look at the qualitative research, they will ask you credibility. What about credibility means whatever conclusions you have drawn from this particular data, are they really good? Can we really transfer them to other contexts? Can we depend on it? And there's a way of confirming it. So there is a lot of difference between quantitative research and qualitative research. So what is more important is description and interpretation are the pillars of qualitative research. So, I mean, ultimately, everything depends upon, you every day you see so many newspapers, but the wisdom you can draw from those news, I think that is more important. And that is where you have to make it strong into that. So that brought a new concept. And what is that concept? In next 7 minutes, I'm going to really tell you this. We call what is called as a mixed method research. That means what you mix qualitative and quantitative research. So I did a good study when I was doing MHP. I wanted to study the laparoscopic skills of residents, and I want to see the retention of their skills after they do one course. All of us do this course. So I took students who had done a course, formal course, and those who are not done, and those were conventional learning. And I tried to look at their retention at 1 month and 6 months, how much of the skills they retain. So I did mixed method research. So quantitative research is, I tried to use the numbers, how many could get those numbers right. But also I did their focus group, that is qualitative research, to know what worked in them. And then you try to draw themes on them. Okay, this worked, this did not work. So when you talk about the mixed method approach, you are trying to mix both why and how much, how and how much. Then probably your research is more better and what is called as a triangulated research. So it can be done in two ways. It can be done, both the things can be done together, or it can be done in a sequential fashion. What do you really mean by that? I'll explain you with your further slides. Now, there's something called as a convergent design. What do you mean by that? When you're planning your study, all of you will plan your projects. You can include quantitative and qualitative data analysis at the beginning only. And then you compare or relate whether whatever you have found is true by both. And then you interpret. This is called as a convergent parallel model, especially when you have less amount of time, you would like to do this study. But there is another way, what is called as an explanatory sequential design. That means what you do quantitative analysis first, and then you find out there are some findings. Now you want to find out why did this happen. Then you follow it with a qualitative data analysis, and then you give an explanation. That study becomes more powerful because you have something which you had found, you're trying to triangulate within a qualitative study, and you would like to then interpret. Any journal which is of a good quality will accept any study which is, of course, any mixed method studies are accepted. But if it's a better explained study, then probably there is a better acceptance into any journal. So I'm sure there are Kirkpatrick levels where you are doing a research at reactions. That means you're just trying to see whether people like for example, this course. If I want to say, did you like this course? You may say, yes, we liked it. So that becomes a reaction. Did you really learn anything out of this course? I will take your MCQ test and find out whether you really got it, or I will observe you. The third level is a transfer. Did you really learn whatever this? Could you bring it into your classrooms? And that is something called the transfer. So you are worried about it, whether I can take it to my classrooms. So that becomes a transfer. And lastly, have you internalized some of these? Yesterday, I think Dr. Chari was talking about human relationship. Are you able to really imbibe those human relationships into your day-to-day personality and practice? That becomes a level 4 of Kirkpatrick levels. So that's what we need to understand when we do any intervention. At what level I am able to achieve. The level 1 is fairly easy. Level 4 is very difficult to do it. So when should mixed method research should be done? When you want to triangulate and you want credibility. When there are different research questions, you want to develop some instrument for taking people whether it really works or not. Instrument means whether questionnaire or anything. Sampling, offset weaknesses and draw of strength, and explain findings of the quantitative methods. Like I says in sequential, you want to do that, you can really do that. So you think about research question, all of you. You think about specific research design, and then decide whether I want to use quantitative method, I want to use qualitative method, or I want to use both. It is not necessary that everybody should do mixed method research. Your question may be simple. It may get answered with quantitative methods. Your question may be complex. You may need a mixed method research, or it may require only qualitative methods. So you have to really start thinking in your project whether I'm going to have a research question and what kind of an method I'm going to really use. And I'm sure there are many books. This is mixed method of research is something like 2011. The whole concept of mixed method research started in 2005, but now it is well accepted into the education. So I would like to say, finally, the word is qualitative and quantitative are man-made constructs to artificially separate research based on apparently different philosophies. If you really see, they are we have developed as educationists into this too. But what we should use them synergetically to get the answers to our research designs and our research questions. It is often counterproductive to characterize ourselves or our research as being one camp or another, when often we need elements of both to address our research question or research problem. That means many times we may require the components of qualitative and quantitative both to answer our questions. And we should use them depend upon what is my research question and what kind of data collection and the method it requires, rather than I will use this method or I will use that method. So if you really see, there are steps in various data analysis, which I won't really go into details. So if you look at the learning elements, to summarize in last 1 minute, I would like to say that yes, the research is one of the most important part of education today, because whenever you are doing new things, you must test these new things, whether it is working or not working. Educational research is slightly different than the dental or the clinical research, because it has an element of social science research where there is a lot of qualitative element really comes. You can have two types of research, like inductive or deductive, where you go from the theory to the observations, and from observations to the theory. And there are different methods of collections. And today we should really plan a good research project and then decide what kind of a methodology you want to use, whether you want to use mixed method or you want to use qualitative or component. So what I want you to do is, when you go home today, reflect on it. What is my project? What is my research question? I'm sure in next 4 or 5 sessions, which Madam has planned, there will be a lot of discussion on your research methodology. That time you reflect, what is the kind of a technique I want to use? And then you pick up, when that will make your project stronger, because ultimately I feel that all of you should publish your projects. And if you want to publish your projects, the kind of way you analyze is very important. So you understand this, I'm sure you'll be able to do much more. I can answer your questions in 1 or 2 minutes if you have. Otherwise, I'm sure Henal must be waiting and we can really talk about it. I would like to thank many people, I'm sure. And
Sir, one question that
yes, please.
Sir, is it not you said the quantitative research should be done first and then the qualitative research?
Not necessarily. If the research design demands, you can reverse it also.
Yes.
But normally when you do sequential, you would like to first see, for example, let me tell you one particular test you want to say whether this test works well. So what will you do? One particular intervention works well in students. So you will do quantitative to say, okay, this works better in this group versus that group. Now you want to find out why did it work better in this group? Then you better go to the qualitative. You can go in the reverse way also. you can really find out that, okay, this observation I have found this is better than the other. I want to confirm it. You can go for a questionnaire or quantitative and you can reverse it. But normally when you say sequential, you do quantitative first and then you do qualitative. So this is a sequence which is commonly followed, but it is not necessarily it should be followed.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Demands of your research question can decide how you want to
Depends on the
decide.
research question.
Yeah. It's a research is ultimately a field of creativity. No, all of you will have different projects, different wavelength, different sense. So depending upon that, you can really choose. But you ultimately see you want to answer some questions, and then for which you can use what are my questions, what level I want to answer. I'm sure all these questions will be dealt when you're talking about the project.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Enal, you want to add anything?
Nikita has a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, anybody.
I just answer one thing to Darshana, you said, do you always use qualitative or quantitative? Well, suppose you wanted to make up a questionnaire to understand what are the good teaching techniques of teachers. You may do an interview with 10 teachers, and once your data is saturated from there, you may get tips as to what should go in the questionnaire. So then you can do qualitative first and then do quantitative. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So whatever happens, it depends on what, as sir very rightly said, what your research question is.
Correct. Yes.
Nikita.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Sir, my question is what could be a good example of a purely quantitative research in educational methodology? Like if I'm doing an educational research, what is a good example of a purely quantitative research?
Fine, sure. I'll tell you very simple. If you want to say that, I mean, I am a laparoscopic surgeon. Just imagine if I want to start a laparoscopic course for my residents. Okay, then I will say that if they work for, say, this particular kind of suture technique, they use it. Does their OSAT score increase? OSAT is a way by which you measure the numbers, so that it is a simple thing that if they work for 3 hours, their OSAT score works for, say, so many by points. If they work for 10 hours, their OSAT score works for more number of time. So that becomes a number game, right? So that becomes a purely quantitative research, especially in education. Or you can have taken, okay, you have, say, one particular test. You use it in this particular way. So many people benefit, so many people pass, so many people do well. And so many people who don't go through that do not do well. So that becomes a quantitative again, because you are talking about numbers, rating scales, or some kind of a performance which can be measured. All that becomes a quantitative kind of a test.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, madam. I think Henel is waiting, so I think we can close. And I'm sure we will have the next few sessions. I'm sure we will try to clarify. And when we'll have a projects, unless you jump into water, you will not realize the value of this qualitative and quantitative. So once you start designing your projects, you will realize the value of this. This is only a trailer of educational research. But what I am saying, keep this in mind when you start designing the indicators and parameters of thing in your research. And that is the time you will have to make a decision. What am I going to? Many of you will use quantitative tools. Qualitative tools will be used by few, but many of you will use quantitative tools. That your ready-made tool is there. You just try to see whether this is better or not better. Like stress in medical students at say GS Medical College. You have a standard rating scale. You do that and say that, okay, so many students are that level. So this is a simple way of really looking at it. But if you want to go, why they are stressed, why they are going through all this stress, that you require a qualitative kind of an intervention. Because you require focus group to know what is the problem in our college which is causing stress to them. Is it the exam? Is it the teacher who is very strict? Is it somebody really troubling them? Are there issues in the hostel? So all these questions will come out in a qualitative research. There the numbers won't matter. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we look forward to your further sessions, sir.
Sure.
Thank you. So I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Hinal Shah. Hinal, can you pin yourself?
Yeah, I'll just share my slides first. I'll just do that.
Yeah, sure. Yes. So Dr. Hinal, a very dear friend. She is a professor in Department of Psychiatry at TNMC, that is the Topiwala National Medical College and Nair Hospital. I think a human being par excellence, a great educationist. And I have introduced you to her during the inauguration and as well as when we had a panel discussion. Yeah. Most of you asked me also, who is that lady? She's speaking so well. Hinal, they gave you compliments also. So yeah. And in the COVID time, she has really worked because mental illnesses were quite at rampant, and they have really helped the patients, and they were very actively engaged in that, as well as they celebrated the 100 years of Nair Hospital, which is a really a great moment and the great way Amitabh Bachchan has seen. All of you should see the Facebook page. It was very, very well said by Amitabh Bachchan. So over to you, Hinal, and you are going to enjoy all her sessions. That I can vouch for.
Thank you for that very gracious introduction. And I must thank my mentors who are here. Madam is one of my mentors, and Dr. Supe, both my mentors, who I have learned a lot, not only medical education, but so many other aspects of life. So it's wonderful to be here to start a session. And today, we are doing something quite different from what you've probably done before. So has anybody done this kind of a test before, paper pencil, to understand themselves before? If you have, just put a hand up on your thing, and I'm just scrolling to see if anybody has. Not really, okay. So yeah, so let's do something quite different today. So, we keep talking about leadership. Whenever we said that we want to create change agents, or we want to create faculty and do faculty training, we are thinking of them as change agents because we are expecting them to create change and ripples and tsunamis of change wherever, in whichever institute, association they are. So if you have that, to do that, one needs good leadership training. And one of the things about leadership is understanding yourself. You have to think of it in different ways. One is understanding yourself. The second would be understanding your team. And finally, we were understanding the community in which you're working with. So one of the things is understanding yourself. And there are many ways of understanding yourself. We have decided to use this method of understanding yourself and your leadership style. So the objective of this session that we are going to be together is to understand the theoretical overview of what is MBTI, and I'll come to exactly what it is. Validate the questionnaire. You all came up with some 4 alphabets, and whether you really agree with it or not is something that we have to see. And you increase awareness of type preferences. So this session is about understanding your strengths and also later understanding the strengths of your colleagues and using it to the best of your competency in your leadership style. So Carl Jung has said that behavior is individual and predictable. So all of us have different types of behavior, different ways of reacting to things, and it is usually to some extent predictable, and it is individualized for each person. So based on this, 2 ladies came up with a test which is known as the Myers-Briggs type inventory. And our assumption is, that everyone has a preferred way of reacting or working or moving towards excellence. And remember, nothing is right or wrong. It's just different. When we are talking about your preference style, it will explain some of your behaviors, but not everything. It's like how you see at Linda Goldman's styles. It can explain a few things, but that is even more esoteric. This has at least more research done on it, but it will explain some aspects of your behavior, but not all. In this style, there are 16 different types of preference styles of working. And there is great variation, not amongst the 16, but even within one, there will be different kinds of variation. So first, understanding that, we will then go to see what is exactly MBTI. Again, once we discuss it, we must remember when we use it, remember it's a preference style. It is not a method to say, oh, I am a J, I can't do that. I am a P, I will do this. I'm an F, I can do only feeling. You can't cast yourself in stone and say, I can do only this or do that. Or this is my preference style and therefore I should work only way. That's not the way how to use this. You don't stereotype it, but you use it to understand yourself and manage people around you. All right. This is a context in which we are understanding yourself using this tool called MBTI. Why did we use MBTI? There are others also, but we are using MBTI because one, it's a self-report instrument, well researched, used very often by professionals, used internationally. It is a non-judgment thing. It's a way to sort and not to measure. Another important thing for us, of course, is that there is a free version. Remember, there is a paid version of this test, which is quite expensive, and it's in dollars, so it makes it even more expensive for us. And there is a part 1 and part 2. Not having to get into monetary issues, we decided to do a test which is overall quite good and is free of cost and will give you an idea or a sense of it. So that is another reason why we chose the one that we are choosing. Of course, it has these 16 types, and because it is so commonly used, many people who are work in companies, the HR people use it. Everywhere that you go, people will be using this and trying to use it and type and prefer themselves. It is available in so many languages all across the world, which just implies how common it is and how much it has been researched upon. All right. So when we are using it to understand ourselves, understand others, improve communication, provide insight into people. And therefore, if I'm working in a team to do my project, then if I'm working in a team to do my education, how do I work with people so I get better work done? How do I influence people? How do I take them ahead? So if you have some understanding of preference styles, this may help you to do that. With this context, now we are going to get to doing more work. First of all, I need all of you all to know your 4 digits. Just write them down on a piece of paper and keep it, whatever your MBTI has come. That is the report you've sent to all of us. So there are 4 digits. Has everybody got those 4 digits with them?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good. So once you have got that 4 digits, we'll then start working. So now we want to think. You have a vacation that is coming 4 months from now. All right. There's a vacation there. How would you naturally plan this vacation? Okay. And we are going to work in groups. And I'm going to ask you to think about how in your groups you're going to plan a vacation. We'll give you 5 minutes to think about it. And after 5 minutes, we'll come back and then we will decide how to go ahead. So how are we going to go into groups? Chinmay and Gaurang have already helped us with it. But again, to show you, the groups are as shown here. So please join your group depending on where your number is. There are 6 groups and I'm going to join group number 6.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is this clear?
Yeah, I am group number 6, ma'am.
I'm joining you in group number 6. Don't you worry.
Thank you,
we
ma'am.
form a group. So has everybody clear? So now they will give us the breakout rooms. You go into your breakout rooms and you all will discuss. You have a holiday 4 months from now. How are you going to plan your holiday? All right. So go into it and come back in 5 minutes. Somebody will have to come and report out.
Make breakout room.
Yeah, so in the breakout room, they will have to keep time and keep records because they're going to come and report out. All right. Okay.
So group 1 in breakout room 1, similar to yesterday. Group 2 in breakout room. Group 2 today is different. Please note your group and then go.
So do we have a choice now to go to the breakout room? How do we go?
Yeah, they just
Yes.
they know how to go.
Okay.
They will click the number 1, number 2, number 2 breakout room.
Ma'am, I have a question. We have to plan a vacation for ourselves.
You can decide as a group. You go in your group and you all make the decisions.
You can plan for yourself, plan for others, plan for college, plan for self.
You go in your group and you make your decisions. All right. Chinmay, Gaurang, how do I join group 6?
Madam, you can also join any of the group, whatever you want. And being a co-host, you can come back also.
Yeah. So I'll just go, no? You made me co-host, so I'll just join. Thank
So
you.
you just go
Yes,
to
yes.
join group and group 6 you.
Yep.
Yeah. Samik,
The option is not open.
Thank you, sir. Course bana liya.
Yeah, option is not open.
yeah, we are just opening the breakout room. Samik, open the breakout room.
Sir, कितने मिनिट રાખવાની છે?
5 minutes.
5 મિનિટ સમીક ચાલુ કરે છે તું હમણાં ચાલુ કરે છે ના આમ
हो गया,
5 મિનિટ
हो गया, started. Now you all can join your breakout room, select your room and go.
Sir, I did not join, that went off. Hello.
Again, select your room.
No, sir. That option is gone from the screen.
go to the breakout room, let's 4 squares and choose your room. Join.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Yeah. Okay.
So the 6 of us who are not joined, Medha, you are not joined. Medha, Santosh, संतोष आनंद.
मैडम संतोष आनंद सर का 2 अकाउंट है, वो एक रूम 2 में एक ऑलरेडी एक ज्वाइन हो गया है.
हाँ. वो join नहीं किया है.
સમીક એવું લાગે ને તો પીપીટી પ્રમાણે એને ગ્રુપમાં નાખી દેજે એ નંબરને.
Yesterday also Santosh had a problem. Sort it out later, Chinmay, after 3rd.
Okay.
They have not joined with their roll number, so it is difficult to identify. कौन सा ग्रुप में डालना है?
Today I am putting the names in the group, those who are not joined.
All of you who have not put their roll numbers, please rename yourselves so you can still add roll numbers. Please do that.
Niranjan Divekar is here. He's not joined the group. Niranjan, any problem?
He's not even connected to audio, so he can't listen to us.
Niranjan, are you practicing?
मैम ऑडियो कनेक्टेड नहीं है, आप जो बोल रहे हो उनको नहीं सुनाई देगा.
Niranjan. I think he has some connectivity problem. Niranjan.
अभी नहीं है, वापस
हाँ वो ज्वाइन किया उसने.
वापस ज्वाइन करेंगे आपको. He'll go to his group if he has put his number.
Yeah.
Hello.
I think, are we all back?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All back? I can see 40, so there should be some more. So people are yet joining in. Are all
Nice having,
back?
nice having new team this time.
Ma'am, too less a time for planning a holiday.
Just a teaser. I think all of us after COVID have not had a holiday for so long.
So you're lost.
Usually I am the one who plans vacation, but today I was like a little hesitant while planning. It's been on time that I have not planned a vacation.
So now that we've got everybody back, let me go to group 1. I want somebody from group 1 to give in just a minute or two highlights of what they've planned for their vacation. All right, group 1.
Dr. Shamash is present.
Dr. Shamash,
Yeah, please go ahead.
First thing is we planned on a budget.
Right.
We planned a budget. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. First thing is we found from each other how much budget they could spare. Depending on that, we could go internationally or nationally. That was the first thing. And then all of us decided that, since 4 months time, it will be January, it will be very cold in most of North India. So we decided to go to Kerala. Unfortunately, rains these days have ruined Kerala. And then we plan to go to Cochin in a resort. We stay put in a resort for 3 nights, 4 days, depending on the budget.
Hello.
3-star,
4-star.
Can I
actually ஒரு patient வந்து மும்பைல ஏதோ ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்காங்க research. I think it's 15 years old. Now 1 year she has not been in Mumbai. She's come back to Chennai now. அது வந்து lower upper வந்து premolar extract பண்ணி retract பண்ணிட்டாங்க. But lower
thank you. He's realized. Okay. Please go ahead, Dr. Shamas.
Sorry. Okay. And then we decided to go to Kerala, stay put in Cochin for 3 nights and 4 days. And we all met on a particular day. We all could meet on a particular day. And then all of us could travel by air and come to Cochin. And then we could hire a local guide and roam around in tempo traveler for 6 people in and around Cochin. And if time permits, we plan to go to Tekri and Munnar as well.
Wow. Superb. Sounds like a very exciting holiday. Superb. Now may I hear group 2? Thank you for sharing. Group 2.
I'll be representing the group 2, ma'am.
Yes.
Good evening. We are participants of 8 people, so we decided to go as the best destination spot, that is Goa. Okay. And everybody wanted a beach and I think a night party, and depends on their mood. So we planned a family trip actually, ma'am, because I think the children are the one which were more need of vacation than us. So the budget we decided was around 10,000 for the stay and 10,000 for the tickets. I think that will be fine. And we'll be leaving from Mumbai to Goa. That is the plan. And we'll be staying for 2 nights and 3 days, ma'am. And at a 5-star resort, at least in a dream, we can do that right now. Yeah, it's very expensive, but with the budget is 10, we might do a joint, budget. So that might be a discount. And we are planning that every day at least beach, and in the night go to the disc. One of the favorite is Tito's. Those who have gone knows that Tito's is one of the best. And that's how we'll be celebrating our vacation with the children, obviously, ma'am, and a good time out. Thank you, ma'am.
Excellent, excellent. So we have a choice of Kerala or Goa. Let's go to the third group. Thank you very much for sharing. Let's hear from the
Thank
third
you, ma'am.
Ma'am, you can choose any destination you like.
Now, whatever the third group has decided, they can tell us what it is. We'll hear them. You're representing group 3.
Yeah, I'm talking on behalf of group 3, ma'am. Darshana here. Actually, this COVID time has taught us that nature is really good for us. And you give us the very apt topic, ma'am. So it connects more to the nature. And we have realized, and we have lost so much of communication with nature because of our, maybe the social commitment, maybe our daily chores and everything. So now we would like to, have some, our brain should function more. We wanted some very thrill experience. We wanted to keep ourselves fit, obviously reducing the stress of all this COVID era. And so we decided to go to the safari park. And since we wanted to be in India only, so we decided to go to Corbett Park, ma'am. And actually, we didn't get much time to decide the budget, the accommodation. But yes, that we decided that we will do a road trip. And we will not take any, the vehicles. We will have our own the vehicles, and we will travel on the roads. Yeah, by road. Yes.
So we are getting spoiled for choice. Huh? We can go to Kerala, Corbett, or Goa. But thank you very much for sharing, Dr. Darshana. And may I ask the fourth team to present, please?
Ma'am, Dr. Neha here, ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead, Neha.
Ma'am, from starting naturally, as the theme was, naturally it led us to Fiji, where Gunjan sir was kind enough to invite all the 6 of us. And and we decided a good time of the year would be March to visit him. And he said the flights would, including flights, travel, lodging, and obviously the food there, it would be a budget of 1.5 lakhs per head. And the flights were through Singapore. He advised us that take the flight via Singapore. And obviously education based. So there were suggestions that let's make it an educational trip and we'll have some sort of a conference or educational meet over there. That's where we left off.
Superb. So we are now even going internationally and going to other places. Fantastic. So they have decided.
Gunjan is inviting you also, huh?
Yes, everybody is invited, ma'am.
How kind, sir.
We may just land up there, huh? Be careful. So thank you very much for that. And may I ask the fifth group now to share what they have planned?
Yes, good evening, ma'am. I'm Shabina and I'm representing group 5. And we met and we decided that first of all, let's decide on the budget because everybody should be comfortable with the same budget if you are planning to travel together, and about the destination and the number of days. So we all zeroed down on Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And everybody was of the opinion that one side we should take we should travel by air, and one side, we should take the cruise so that we get the experiences of both the travels. And then, but much before that, all of us, we've ensured that all of us are vaccinated, as we will be showing our vaccination certificates during the travel, and all the children are healthy and nobody is suffering from any fever or nothing. And then, because most of us are working, so we decided upon, whether we will get how many leaves we can get from the office, and the children are also having vacation during that time. So we decided that we will travel in January when the school children, they have their winter vacations, and we can also take some time off from the work. And then we decided upon booking a resort where all of us can stay together, and we book the tickets also. So we distributed the responsibilities amongst us as a group that who will do what. And then we also decided upon the list of things which we need to carry. And because everybody wanted to have a wonderful beach holiday, so we decided कि सब swimming costumes रखेंगे, and we take a nice DSLR camera with us, and we will take all the essentials and medicines for the children and eats for the children, so that we can have a very comfortable travel. And that's it. I think that's what we discussed.
Superb. You seem to be ready to leave. All right. So you were group 5, right?
Yes,
ma'am. So now group 6, that was two
Yes,
of
ma'am.
us. I will let you present and then I can add to that.
Yeah, ma'am. And I was having one of the best groups. With no other than Hinal ma'am. So I am honored for that. Ma'am, what I have discussed with ma'am was that since I lead college, I want my staff, जिसके पीछे मैं दिन रात पड़ा रहता हूँ कि काम करो काम करो काम करो. So they need a vacation along with me, and what the same I communicated to ma'am that first of all I will float the idea of 3 days, either a weekend, because I am the dean. I have to see that my working of the college should not suffer. So I will first float the idea that 3 days, either in continuation, either Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday. ऐसे जो भी छुट्टी पड़ेगा, we'll decide in consensus. We'll fix the dates, and then second thing which I will be doing is to distribute the work amongst my teammates, that is my staff, and that is firstly deciding the venue. My management is having the travel, which I haven't discussed with the madam. So I think so the travel will be taken care by the management, and we can save the money there. And then the finances, of course, firstly the finances should be looked to one person. I'll dedicate for working out the finances, what should be per head. Everybody has to pay, and definitely when I am including my management there, so I feel that I'll be able to fetch some money from the management also. And I am very pretty confident about it. उनको भी ले जाऊंगा साथ में, तो कुछ ना कुछ पैसा तो उनसे मिल ही जाएगा. Then thirdly, one person will be looking after the activities. So it is not only the staff, their families will also be there. So that one person will dedicatedly looking after the activities which we are going to do, outdoor activities, indoor activities, along with the family, the children. So that part will be taken care by that person. And then madam asked, Vivek, are you really naturally planned so well in advance? So madam, I was like, no ma'am, I am last minute planner. But since the question was that 4 months before you have to plan, I am planning this way.
All right, so let me just add our conversation, okay? So he said, normally I would have done it last minute. Ab principal ho gaye ho na, to mujhe thoda planning karna padta hai. So see, in all your groups, you all had a place, you all had a budget, you all had how many days, you all had some resort, somebody even talked of Tito's where to go, somebody talked about snacks for the children, somebody talked of vaccination, somebody talked about getting food ready. And here is Vivek and myself yet thinking, कब करेंगे, कैसा करेंगे, अब सोचे या बाद में सोचे. 4 लोग को बोलते हैं ना, one person will look after this, one person will do that. So there is a big difference in how Vivek and myself planned a holiday and how we all planned it. I mean, the amount of detailing that was there in a 5-minute conversation about planning a holiday was starkly different in what Dr. Vivek and myself did and what all of you all did. Did you get that?
Yes,
ma'am.
Yeah, so now let's go ahead and see what that means.
But both are right in their own way.
Of course, these are just different styles. Remember that there is nothing right or wrong. We are all different and we just need to understand ourselves. All right. So coming to this. See, people do 2 things. First is they perceive the environment, and secondly, they make judgments about what they perceive.
Please mute yourself, all of the participants.
We can say perceiving is like gathering data, and then making a judgment or making a decision is judging. So we gather data and make judgment. All right. You perceive and then you judge. You gather information and then you decide. That's how we normally work. But how does it work for some people? Some people would prefer to keep gathering data. They just love to gather data. So if you see, Vivek and myself said we'll keep one person to get all the information, which are the different places. One person will gather about what are the different activities. One person will gather something about what are the money and stuff like that. So we are gathering and gathering information. In those 5 minutes, we made no decision only. We were just looking at how to gather information. In all the other groups, they talked about within this 5 minutes, whatever information they had, they all made a choice, whether it was Fiji or Kerala or whether it was Goa, choices were made. So there are some people, when interacting with the outer world, prefer to just keep gathering information and then no hurry to make a decision. They like to observe. These are the people who like to perceive. And the last alphabet type is P. I'm also a P, so I joined Vivek. So that's how P would behave. Perceiving are people who have this preference style to remain open and adapt to new information. They're in no hurry to make a decision. They can keep taking in information, look at it from this way, look at it from that way, understand it a little better, and there is no pressure to make a decision. Come on, we have to do this. On the other hand, there are some people, when they interact with the outer world, prefer to make a decision about from whatever data they have gathered and as quickly as possible. And they don't really need a lot of data to make a decision. Whatever little data they have, they can quickly make a decision and a judgment on it. This preference style of people is called judge. And their last MBTI alphabet is J. Again, reiterating, nothing is good or bad, it's just different and we have to know ourselves. So people who have this judging preference like to come to a closure and make a decision quickly. So if we have to compare judging versus perceiving, people who are judging want things to be settled and ordered, they're time oriented, they have their deadlines, they have goals and results, and they hate surprises. If you look at their table, it's all organized and files are put into place. If you look at the preference style perceiving, they love things to be flexible. They're in no hurry to make a decision. They always think there's plenty of time. Like Dr. Vivek was saying that I can make a decision the last 1 month also. There's no hurry to decide now. Okay? They love to see what turns up because something new may come which is more interesting and they love surprises. But their organization is usually piles rather than files. And people who are having the perceiving style, therefore don't commit very fast and they're flexible, therefore they're tentative. And they reserve a right to change their plans. I know that when we were preparing these slides, 2 days ago, Chinmay and Gaurang, without whom I would have never got this done, and Madam Nagda who rang me up and asked, okay, so how are the breakout rooms going to be? And because I had to commit, I made a decision, okay, this is what we are going to do. Otherwise, I know that very often when I have a presentation to make, I'm usually deciding the night before what to do. And I know sometimes I've gone for a presentation, not use my slides and just said something very different. So, you know, if they're more flexible, they hate routines because they find them limiting. They love to go with the flow. They make lists and usually are very bad and lose them. People with a preference style of judging make lists and make sure that they do it. They plan well and get ahead and get things done. They find routines beautiful to get things effectively done. They quickly commit to plans and they draw conclusions very fast. So if you had to look at this, what do you think this is? Is this a preference style J or P? If this is the task and this is the time.
J.
J.
And the other one?
No, second is P.
Second is P.
Second one is P. First is J.
Yeah, not that they both got to where they wanted to, okay? Don't miss that. Only the way they do it is very different. All right? If you tell me, you know, like somebody said they would make a day plan for every day. So judges would want that. Why perceivers can't believe it that you have to plan not only when you're going 4 months in advance, but you have to plan also that what you're going to do every day. Judges will have a list. Perceivers will decide on the go what they want to do. All right. So now we have come to one thing, that there is one alphabet of ours which are different, J and P. All right. Now we go to another one. How we take in information. And that is the alphabet S and N in the 4 MBTIs. And this is your second alphabet. All right. So I would request you to take your cameras and just take a picture of this slide, because I'm going to ask you to go into groups and you're going to describe this picture for the next 3 minutes and then come back and tell me what it is. So please take a picture of this slide. Now that you've taken the picture, I'm moving to the next. These are the groups. So this time, these are the groups. Please identify which group you are in and join that group. So once you have seen that, you know that you have to go in your group and describe the picture, and somebody will come back at the end of this 2 or 3 minutes and tell us what they saw. Okay, so we can have the groups and we can give them 3 minutes to discuss in their groups.
Madam, can I see the picture once more?
Sure, sure. Here you go.
Give me a laptop.
Take a photo of it so that will be simpler for you to discuss it in your group. You can open the breakout rooms now.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, look at your groups, please, and then go accordingly.
Dr. Medha, Niranjan, Darshna, Dr. Nikita, please join your group. Dr. Medha, Dr. Niranjan, Dr. Darshna, please join your group.
Niranjan is not connected, I think.
Yes, audio not connected.
Audio is not connected, so he can't hear. And his video is also not connected.
Yeah, for Devi Prasad also.
Niranjan, Devi Prasad.
Samik, you can put them in their group.
Yeah, assign them to their group.
Yes.
Left to assign.
Now only Dr. Niranjan is pending. All other have joined the group.
Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am, I joined the wrong room because
I think there's some problem here with the breakout room.
On the slide, I cannot see group 5. It's not visible on the screen, ma'am. Group 5, there are numbers which are 6, so I could not see, ma'am. Sorry. The slide was spread.
That's what actually
my number is not showing. Yes, ma'am. It is group 6 is not showing on the screen.
You can make it smaller. Group 5 is not seen on the screen.
All right.
6 also, ma'am. 6 also.
I don't have the breakout room option on my
There
screen.
is no group 6, only 5 group you can see in the slide.
Yes,
Group
ma'am.
1
Five.
is below S, and a group 2, 3, 4, and 5 are under N. Because this time you are equally distributed, and that's why we need to make only 5 groups. There is no group 6. And you have to join according to your number
Five
shown in
numbers
the
are
slide.
not seen. Group 5. Can you announce the numbers?
Yeah, group 5 is 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 35, 36. I'm announcing it again. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 35, and 36.
Ma'am, if you can give 5 more minutes, it'll be nice, ma'am.
Yeah,
I mean,
we will give you. All right. We'll give everybody some more time.
thank you.
So again, we are creating the 5 breakout room with the 5 minutes. So make 5 breakout room with the 5 minutes.
You can give them 3 minutes now.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. It's
3
okay.
minutes is enough.
It's okay.
Okay, open the breakout room. Yeah, it's open now. All of you join, please. As per your number in the group.
Yeah, I think they've all gone now, no, this time?
સમીક
હા સર
દર્શનાબેન ને 3 માંથી લઈને 1 માં મૂકી દે.
ઓકે
અને આ છે ને 2 નંબર એમને એપ્રોપ્રિએટ ગ્રુપમાં જવા દે.
2 નંબર ઓકે 2 નંબર કોણ છે 2 નંબર ગ્રુપ 1 માં છે.
હા બસ ગયા.
કર દો ગ્રુપ ક્લોઝ કર દો 60 સેકન્ડ મળશે પછી.
ના હમણાં રહેવા દે 1 મિનિટ પછી ક્લોઝ કર.
ઓકે સર આ દરેક ગ્રુપમાં દરેક એક્ટિવિટીમાં ગ્રુપમાં મેમ્બર ચેન્જ થઈ જાય છે ને.
હા અલગ આવશે.
બ્રોડકાસ્ટ લિસ્ટ ડિલીટ કરીને ફરીથી કરી નાખીશ ને એટલે પછી બધાને ફરીથી નવેસરથી પૂછશે કે
એટલે રીક્રિએટ રૂમ કરી દે.
હા ઓકે ક્લોઝ નાવ આપી દઉં.
યસ
ઓકે 60 સેકન્ડ મળશે હવે એ લોકોને.
So all will join within a minute time.
Yeah, આજે બહુ સારું થયું.
All right, I think we've got everybody back. No.
Yes.
We
are back now.
They are coming. Still 14 only.
Yeah, only 14 have come.
We have come back now.
We wait for
So within 30 seconds, everybody will forcefully come back.
It is already set.
$36 now.
Now everybody's back.
All right. So let's hear from group 2 first. Group 2, please report what you saw in that picture.
I am Dr. Snali speaking for group 2. Well, it's a very happy day, it seems. It's a fresh morning. People have come out for their usual routine walk and jog the beach side. Some probably has come to take a pet also for a walk. Regarding that, there is an old beach house which is there. And regarding the castle, which has been, although very intricately designed, but it seems as if somebody came in the morning, patiently probably was doing it, then had to leave it. It's incomplete. It's not very safe because it's open from one end. And although we're not sure whether it's completed or not, but it seems to be incomplete. So
we could probably also mention that they seem to have enough skill, as in whatever job they've done a good job. So skilled people have done it.
The person who's doing it has a skill, is doing it intricately.
Correct.
It is needs to be completed, and if it is completed, then it is open from one end. It doesn't seem to be very safe.
All right, thank you very much.
And it is a low tide.
Now and somebody said low tide also. All right, so now may I ask the next group to tell us about their description? Group.
Ma'am, group 1.
Group 1, ma'am, or which group, ma'am?
Madam, you are muted, ma'am, please. You are muted.
Group 1.
We'll come to group 1 last.
Oh, okay.
I could
Please
not
tell the
join
group
any
again.
group, ma'am. Group 3,
Somebody
Dr.
from
Kavita.
group 3 will present.
Yes, ma'am.
Please go ahead and present.
Good evening, all. Now, there's a beautiful sea beach in the picture, and a big fort made up of sand can be seen, which has been made probably by the people out there. This pic has been taken from the sun side. Now, there's a cottage at the distant side in the picture. A man is jogging in sunlight. Few people are enjoying near seawater, and a man has brought his pet along with him. There are many seashells spread on the sand. There is a stagnant water channel after the water has washed away or retrieved, and people have piled up sand, maybe to make some more new sand castles later or next day. Thank you, ma'am.
Superb. Thank you very much for that. And now may I ask group number 4 for their description?
Good evening, ma'am.
Evening.
Ma'am, I'm Dr. Poonam. I belong to group number 4, and the description that we've come to in consensus with all of us is, first of all, describing the layout of the picture, ma'am. The following things can be seen. In terms of the natural beauty, there is a sea. Of man-made structures, I can see a sand castle, which to us doesn't seem to be incomplete. On the left side, there's a resort kind of a thing which is seen. The sand castle and sort of all which is satisfactory. There are minor details which are taken care of. There on this whole picture, we can see different kinds of people who are there depending on the side of the castle. Himself, and he's clicking a picture of the thing that is made. Then we can see a man who's jogging there. So he's probably taking care of his health and is not ready to miss the routine even on a vacation. Then there's a group of people, probably a family, or there's a couple who with the pets, so who are having a leisurely time. So this can be seen, and overall this seems to be a very clean and safe kind of a beach, and our group said that they would like to visit this. And commenting on the time, ma'am, it seems because the shadow is there, and also it seems to have a low tide. So I think we think that it may be around 4 o'clock, 4 to 5. That is what we generally see. I may be wrong. So ma'am, this is the interpretation of the picture.
Superb. Thank you. May I ask for group number 5 to give their interpretation?
Yes, ma'am. I'm representing group 5. So this is a beautiful beach castle, and to us it looks like a beautiful morning where they go for a walk, because the shadow falls the other side when the sun sets from the east. That's where the beach is. So the photographer might have taken the photo from there. And we see a few people at the shore, and there's a dog as well. And when we come to this sand castle, it is beautifully planned, and there are very intricate details, wherein with every 4 small tiny pillars, there is one long pillar. And it looks like there are multiple levels of protection for something that is present in the middle. And there is a old beach house, and one person is found to be jogging, and it is a very serene morning place, ma'am.
Superb. Thank you. I think this is another vacation spot we have found too. All right. Now that these 5 have described, can I ask group 1 to describe this picture?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Dr. Rekha from group 1. So, ma'am, this is a picture of a sea beach that looks like a sandy beach, not a rocky one, a very clean beach. And we can see a sand castle that has been made. It seems many people have contributed to making the castle, because it is so elaborate. And they have taken care of all the fine details. And it seems it was made a day or 2 before, not on this day when the picture was taken, because it seems like early morning time. We can see few person jogging, and probably low tide time. And we can see demarcation in the color of the sand also, with a small water body in between. So seems like low tide, and the color difference is because up to which point the waves come. And there is a pile of sand also. So the person who made the castle probably was planning to make more, but maybe because of time constraint could not make it further. And there are very few people on the beach, so it could be a private beach, or it could not be a very crowded tourist place, so that there are very few people despite being such a beautiful beach. We can see a shekel also, a single shekel towards the back. And moreover, the person whosoever made the beach seems very patient, because it's not easy to make the the castle from the sands. So it has been done very patiently.
Anybody from this group wants to add more?
Ma'am, it's a teamwork. It's not a single person job. It's a teamwork, because it takes a lot of time. So this is done by 2-3 people at least, because by the time if it is, the tide would have destroyed it, ma'am, by now. So if there is low tide, that means this has been done meticulously for hours before the picture was taken.
All right. So from what I hear, this group is telling me that this is in layers. This is made very meticulously. It is low tide. So a lot of hours was spent and a lot of teamwork was done. They said that the color of the sand is different, and there's a water body in between, which I didn't notice. And they said, what was there behind? I forgot. I mean, I couldn't even get it. What is it that you described?
Shack.
Oh, there's a shack. All right, so there is a shack behind. Somebody called it a resort. Somebody called it a shack who's behind. They also said that there are not many people. So did you count the number of people?
Yeah.
Yes, 10 people.
Oh, perfect.
Around 8 to 10.
10, ma'am.
10 people, 10.
You all have counted the number of people also. And
Yes.
did you count how many layers or how long or how big this was? I'm
3
talking about the
layers.
room.
Yes. 3 layers. 3
Yes,
layers.
you all talked of 3 layers. And did you also see how many windows per round and things like that?
No.
That is too much, ma'am.
I'm just asking because
we didn't count the windows, but yes, one of the team member mentioned that it has been taken care of. They have given fine details also. They have made the windows so meticulously. So
all right. So, and when I see the others 2 to 5 group, what did they tell me? This looks like a beautiful place. This has a good feeling to it. This has a place where people can come for a holiday. See, this person, he likes to jog. Even if it is a lovely vacation, he will yet jog, right? So what are they doing? They're making inferences. They're not telling me that there are 8 people, there are 10 people, there is one shack, there are 3 layers of this. They're telling me inferences of what is there. And because the shadow is coming this way, it could have been morning or evening, or the photographer may have stood on this side and therefore it could have been done this way. So you see, there are 2 different ways how people have taken this picture in. So one is perceiving. How we take the information is 2 ways: sensing and intuition. Intuition begins with an I, but because there's another alphabet also which begins an I in MBTI, for intuition we call it N. So some people have a preference style of S and some have N. And let's try and understand them better. People who have the sensing preference style like to take in information in a precise and exact manner. There are 10 people. They know how many people are there. They know that there are 3 layers. They will probably tell you much more. There is one shack only. There is one dog. So they can tell you things like that. People who have a preference style of intuition like to take in information in an ad hoc, innovative manner. So they're not getting into details, but they're making meanings of it. So the person who's a sensor takes in, sees, hears, tastes, smells, and gets all the information. A person who takes in intuitively gets all the data, extrapolates and makes meaning out of it. Oh, this is a beautiful day because the sun is out, it's clean, so it's a beautiful day. So that's how they would look at it. Sensors would prefer facts, prefer tried and true methods. They're practical, realistic, and they're predictable. People who are intuitive prefer theory. They love abstract theories. They prefer the new untried. They're dreamers. They're imaginative. They like change. They see problems as opportunities to innovate and inspire. They keep focusing on the future and the possibilities. They look at the big picture and therefore often miss the details. And they're more worried about what it can be than what is exactly going on. So they may often see the forest but miss the trees. These people see the trees and can miss the forest. They want to know what is. They focus on what is practical application of the situation. They see problems as needing specific solutions based on past experience. So if there is a pile of sand, why was it not made? What was wrong with that sand? How much sand was there? So they would work in that kind of a very organized way of working. So people who have sensing need more data. People who look at something and think of it as intuitively, they'll think of it as an opportunity. All right. So now again, we have seen people would have different ways of perceiving things. One is sensing and one is intuitive. Sensing is taking everything with your senses, length of the pencil, the length of the shack, the number of people, one dog, so many people, things like that, 2 water bodies, different colors of the sand. And the other person would say, this is a lovely day. So whatever they've taken, they're making more meaning to it. So these are again 2 different styles of taking in information. From there, let's go to another picture. How we make decisions. This is the 3rd alphabet, T and F. All right, so let's think of conflicts and how we react to it. So you're all teachers, and one student, you're having exams, and one student says, I can't, doesn't give the exam, and he says that uh, he could not come for the exam because of problems at his place. There were everybody turned COVID, so he could not come. But they're exams, and you have to decide whether you should pass or not. So how would you really decide what to do? So what would you do and come to a decision? So now again, we are going to put you into groups that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please look at your groups, and then we'll put you there. In your group, you all are going to decide. Student, final exam, says he did not make it because some of his family members had COVID and he was too upset. How will you make a decision what to do with this student? All right. So I want you to go into your groups and discuss this, and we'll get you out in 3 minutes. So please allow the groups to be formed.
मैडम आप म्यूट पे हो.
Shabina has not joined the group.
I think last group also she could not manage to join. So I think
You know what has happened, Hinal? She has not put her roll number in front of it. Samik is making them join through the roll numbers very easily.
Yeah.
Naam search karna is not easy.
Yeah.
And this is the 4th or 5th class. So they have been told many times, today I'll get it done.
Yeah, but I think overall it's going quite well.
Yeah. Samik and Chinmay both are doing great job. It's actually Chinmay. Samik, 2 minutes ઉભી રહેજે. ક્લોઝ નહીં કરતો.
મેડમ ઓટોમેટિક ટાઈમ ક્લોઝ થઈ ગયો છે એટલે મેં ક્લોઝ આપી દીધું.
Doesn't matter, enough time, it's okay.
Okay. No one can help you if your attitude is like this.
All right, I think everybody has come back, right? Okay, let's hear group 1 and 2, and then we will take 3, 4, 5. So let's hear 1 and 2, what they have to say.
Ma'am,
one, yeah, please go ahead.
Should I start, ma'am?
Yeah, please do. Please.
Actually, ma'am, we were just discussing, so we didn't decide who's going to speak. So
they will all join in. You can start, Poonam,
Right,
take lead, and everybody will join in.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, the big question was that you said that one person is not given the exam due to COVID situation. So our first question was whether he is COVID positive or is he having some other family or medical emergency. So we decided that you cannot just straight away pass or fail a person. The few factors that are going to be considered can be the, because you're seeing the person for last 3 years, so his overall performance, then his practical assessment, which you've seen over a period. And of course, it would be unfair to just pass him because when other people are sitting and giving the exam. So we would like to exercise the option of online exam. It's very much possible in today's time. So that option can be given to him. And of course, he can be from our side, he can be helped in the internal assessment marks. But the theory part, he has to write. And if not, then he should be considered again for the exam after the stipulated period of time. Because ma'am, passing a student straight away like that would not be fair to the other candidates who are sitting for the exam and giving the exam. This was our suggestion, ma'am.
That's very good. Thank you. Poonam, anybody else who wants to add from the group, since she said they did not have a chance to discuss it? Anybody else wants to add from group 1, or then I can ask group 2 to talk? Okay, Poonam, you seem to have covered it. All right, we'll ask group 2 to talk.
Yes, I think on behalf of group 2, I will do it, ma'am. Yes, since the student, yes, ma'am, yeah. The candidate who's been refusing to take up the examination, I think the first thing we have to do is that to ascertain whether he is really suffering from COVID or is he, scared of the exam per se. So first thing we'll see his records, whether he has attended his online classes, and then if he is attended and then is taking risking himself to take the exam, then we will go for counseling. And we will tell him that the reason of failure is not the end, and not attempting is actually the worst thing to do. So in case he is still adamant and not able to do, then we will call in his parents and then try to discuss with them also. And since COVID time is always being benefiting the students, we will also give him the benefit. He's attempting the exam, might itself the government say no exams at times, and he might clear the exam on his own without even writing the exam. So that's what from group 2 we think will be the right thing to do.
Excellent, thank you for that. Now let's go to group 3 and hear what they have to say.
Yeah, ma'am, this is Dr. Vaibhav. I'm representing group 3.
Yeah.
We together felt that it depends upon what type of examination it is. For example, whether it's a college examination or it is university examination. And also it matters whether it's a theory university examination or a practical examination. So we feel that the benefit should always go to the student, because ultimately they are our they are the main stakeholders in this. So according to us, if it is a theoretical examination for an university, nothing much can be done about that. But if it is a practical examination, then according to the code of conduct, the dean can take this decision, and his timings of examinations can be postponed if possible, or otherwise, if it's a college examination or the results are based on college, then there are so many formative assessments that have been conducted for him previously. So depending on his attendance and his performance, he can be promoted further. So that if he is a good student, then he doesn't lose a year because of some medical conditions which were not within his control. So we feel that benefit should always go to the student, but within the framework of the rules, try to help as much as possible.
Excellent. Now may I ask the next group please to talk?
Yes, ma'am. Myself, Vedha, I on the group. Ma'am, we will very information. I mean, prior examination. If we will schedule an online.
Your voice is cracking. I just got this much that you need to know the reason, and if required, you'll schedule an online exam. I don't think I got the rest of the details. Maybe somebody
Can I elaborate?
Yes, please, please.
Okay, so we had decided that we have to first see the pattern here. If he was regular in all the classes and consult with other departments also, how much would be his internal marks, whether his condition is genuine, this case scenario is genuine to him. And if all checks out, then we would reschedule an online exam in case he cannot come to college because of the COVID situation. And see, for in case of prosthodontics, we can practical examination, we can conduct theoretically, maybe MCQs or something else might have to be considered. But the call will be on the institution head.
Right. And the last group, please, what do they feel? Group 5.
This is Dr. Soumya representing the group 5, ma'am. We thought we'll track all his record, his or her record, and if we find that he's genuine, then we'll again cross-check with the other departments also, and then give him a chance. We'll either go with an online like a Zoom or OSCE, OSPI, and then reschedule according to, I mean, if he is COVID positive, then after he finishes his term, we can just give one opportunity to him.
So if I may ask, group 1 and 2, how did you make your decision? Based on what did you make your decision?
Ma'am, what kind of exam is it? So we assumed that it was the final exam because it was mentioned final exam. So we took it that it is a university exam. So we took the decision of not passing and failing based completely on the previous record, because that would raise questions amongst the other students.
So I have a feeling,
not be fair, ma'am.
So what I can see that group 1 and 2 thought about the rules, thought about the regulation, thought about fairness, thought about what is the right thing for other students, not only him. And their decisions were based on that. From what I understand from group 3, 4, 5, they felt bad for this chappie who could not give the exam because of COVID, and they wanted him or her to have another chance. Is that the feeling that group 3, 4, 5 had?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What credential he had in past, that all we consider.
No, you thought that of course you want to give him a chance, but you know, you will check his track record whether he's always been doing this or not. So the way you approached a conflict was with two different ways. The T's or the thinkers thought about rules, justice, and things like that. The F are the feelers. They thought about, oh my God, this person has got COVID or his family's got COVID. Let's figure a way to help him out. Again, neither is right or wrong. They're just different, and we need all types to make the world. So how we make decisions, depending on that, we can have a preference style of T or thinkers and F feelers. People who have this thinking, have the thinking preference style, use logic, use objectivity when making decisions. On the other hand, people who have the preference style of feelers seek individual and interpersonal harmony when making decisions. Jane dona, why make him feel bad? Let's kind of settle it down. So they always go with feelings. Words, principles, justice, standards are the things that they follow when they are doing with thinkers. They're usually truthful and they have a great interest in data, and they use their logic. On the other hand, feelers are more interested in harmony, maintaining intimacy, mercy, humane. They're usually tactful. They have interest in people and know when support is required. They intuitively can say, this person requires support. Thinkers tend to be objective, remain detached when making a decision. They'll weigh the pros and cons, might argue both ways, to get mentally settled and then strive to be fair. Feelers are more subjective. They get involved in that decision making and they look at the values and they might agree even to maintain harmony. And they strive for compassion rather than fairness. So here we have again another set of people who work in two different ways while making decisions. Either they use the thinking style or they use the preference style. And now we're coming to the last bit. It's Friday morning. It's been a long week and you're tired. And maybe you're exhausted. And the Prosthodontic Society and Dr. Nagda suddenly announces that you can have the day off. No Zoom lectures. How would you prefer to spend the day? All right. So in groups, you all are going to discuss how you all are going to spend suddenly a day off at the end of an exhausting conference, a Zoom meeting, whatever it is. So I want you to go into your groups. I thought I'd put it here. Here it is. Okay. I want you to go into your groups and there are 4 groups and you all can decide what you want to do in your groups on the day off. So group 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll give you 3 minutes to 4 minutes to decide what you're going to do in that time when you have a day off. So they can go into their breakout rooms.
So please precisely room number and go to your respective room.
કેટલી મિનિટ માટે કરવાનું છે?
It's not giving the option of breakout.
સર કેટલી મિનિટ માટે કરવાનું છે?
3 મિનિટ 3 મિનિટ માટે કરવાનું છે.
Yeah. Vanish.
All please select your room and go to your room. Look. Please put roll number 17, 30 to their respective room. (17) to group number 3. Now everybody are in the room. You are muted, madam. You are muted.
Darshana is not able to join the room.
No, he has been put in his room.
She, Darshana madam.
She's
gone. He has gone.
Okay.
And I think I need to take personally talk with her tomorrow, day after tomorrow, because he is getting problem in each breakout room.
Okay. And even that you talk to Santosh Anand.
Okay, sure.
2 or 3 people were not
Breakout
able.
room close करूं?
And Shabina.
1 minute પછી.
Shabina also could not join.
Close ના આપી દે એટલે 60 સેકન્ડ નો ટાઈમ આવશે એ લોકોને.
હા ભલે 1 મિનિટ પછી કર. ડોક્ટર સબીના રોલ નંબર લખ્યો નથી.
34 છે લાગે છે. હું
34 ઓકે.
પણ પૂનમ એ નંબરે નથી મૂક્યો. પૂનમ પ્રકાશ આર્મી ગર્લ.
So day after tomorrow in that logbook session we will ask them. Only these 3 things we will discuss. Breakout room.
We have made an online logbook for them. Huh?
Superb.
Online logbook and portfolio also online. And the LMS is slowly being developed better and better.
Superb.
Yeah.
Madam, credit goes to you.
To whom?
To
Madam. He has suggested my name to you.
Yeah. I used to talk to you now. वो 2 लाख लेता है, 1 लाख लेता है, 3 लाख मैं क्या करूं? Then no LMS only. Then you said you talked to Chinmay what he can do, but he made I didn't know he has slowly developing LMS.
Ma'am, you are very lucky. You've got Gaurang and Chinmay who have really taken up a lot of responsibility and are doing this very well. Congrats to both of you. Huh?
Array, I'm telling you, but for them, this course would not have happened because the dental faculty did not have that kind of thinking because they were not exposed to all this. No, I won't blame them. But what is it is there are lots of people who join, but down the line I'm busy. I can't attend today. I can't do this. But Chinmay and Gaurang have met me between 10 and 12 in the night. So I'm highly indebted to both of them and I learned a lot from Chinmay. Of course, Gaurang also, because Gaurang also has a lot of experience with MUHS. Huh?
Yes.
Chinmay can give any resource anytime.
It's our pleasure, madam. We have learned and we are still learning. સમીક કોઈ વાંધો નહીં. ગ્રુપ 5 માં કોઈ જોઈન નહીં કરે. ભલે ડિલીટ નથી થયું.
ઓકે સર. સર 3 મિનિટ થઈ ગઈ છે તો ક્લોઝ કરી નાખો.
હવે ક્લોઝ કર દે. ક્લોઝ કર દે.
Yeah, close please.
60 સેકન્ડ માં બધા આવી જશે.
હા.
Suji. कल भाजी वाला के पास से लेके
भाजी वाला कहाँ आ गया?
Ma'am, do you hop between rooms, ma'am? Because what do you do within the 5 minutes?
No, I didn't. Shekhar, I was not talking on the phone loudly in Tamil.
Sorry.
Doesn't matter. என்ன பேசின்றது எல்லாம் கேட்டேன்னா.
Sorry, I forgot that you know Tamil as well.
Inal ma'am, we got locked in the room for long time. Not breakout room. ताला चाबी खो गया था मैडम. Bobby
he's also looking after the patients.
Yeah, that was there. I just had to reschedule an appointment. That's it.
You won't believe, ma'am. I predicted we were going to lose the keys, and it happened. I told them, "Chabi kho jayega." Locked room.
No. This is a forceful critical thinking. This is a forceful critical thinking. When you are not able to come back, what you will do? You do something.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But Henel ma'am, this was amazing. This works really well. We all were at the same, ditto word to word. We were thinking same, you know.
So let's hear. Is everybody back? Let's hear from Group 3 and Group 4.
Great minds think alike.
Jivan
No, we shall not say that. Group 3.
Sir,
Who's a
good evening to all.
Yeah.
Madam, I am representing the group 3. We are 9 members, have unanimously decided to enjoy the time with a good sleep. All people decided to have a good sleep, and then mingling among all the family members and preparing a good lunch for the lunchtime. And after that, spending some time for the movie. Later on, in the evening, we wanted to have a walk in the evening.
Excellent. So there's a movie, there is lunch, there is cooking, and there is a walk. Fantastic. Now let's
Yes, madam.
Group 4.
Yes.
And there is
Because throughout the day we have taken rest, and the evening we want to relaxedly walk.
Okay, we give you that. Now let's hear Group 4.
Ma'am, I'm representing Group 4, ma'am. So we had unanimously decided to have a good sleep and then wake up late and have good hot idlis. All of us want good food also. And then whatever backlog work is there, we can do it for the next week. And then during the evening time, we can have a lot of family time with children and spend time for movies, going out, or things like that, ma'am.
So everybody was thinking of doing things together. Going
Yes,
out with your family, or going with your friends, going to a movie, going out together, having idlis together. So there's a lot of fun things happening in groups, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Now let's hear Group 1 and 2, what they have to say.
Yeah, I'm representing Group 1, ma'am. So most of the people in our group had thoughts along similar lines. Most of them said they would want to stay at home and relax with either Netflix or a book and order favorite food in from somewhere. Of course, sleeping was also involved. Some people just wanted to sleep. Also, there were a few people who wanted to step out of the house, go exploring around, and go out without kids, and basically not have any responsibility for that day and just take it easy. And yeah, if you feel guilty, then plan something with the other people the next day.
All right, thank you. Let's hear Group 2.
Good evening. Yeah, Dr. Sanjay, you can see.
Yeah, madam, please.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Dr. Neeta representing Group 2. 9 of us, and there's most of us, they want to spend the time in home. That is to get first things in order because we got a break from the routine. Some me time, some family time, some want to go for some bit of yoga, walk, read a book, or enjoy movies, and some want to sleep and just to de-stress and relax. Only one of us, they want to go out because for them de-stressing is going out with friends, for a bunch of school friends and all. And few, they want to complete our coursework also. This is also that is also very encouraging, Nagda ma'am, that whatever logbook or anything is left, we will do that. But most of us, yes, we want to spend within the home, doing our things, some hobby work, painting, either sleeping, that is all.
Madam, I want to add one thing.
Yes, Dr. Prasad.
What I feel, madam, that the brain has got enormous power. Okay, it never tires. It just needs a change. Suppose you are doing a yoga. If you do a yoga for 6 hours, it will not like it. It's a change. So similarly, to do distress, we need to just change what we have been doing regularly and then come back refreshed. That is the idea. That means anything which distresses you, you can do that. You can go for a walk. You can read a book. You can go for sports. We can go for swimming. You can go for a massage. Anything.
Excellent, Dr. Prasad.
Or you can declutter your room. That is also one type of refreshing. That decluttering your room is a good thing.
But I want to emphasize something. That all those people in Group 3 and 4 were doing different things, and everybody has a different thing to do for a holiday. But if you notice, most of the activities were with people. They were going for a movie together, they were going out for a dinner together, they were having breakfast together. If they went out in the evening, it was together. So they seem to be wanting to spend time together. While the people who were in group 1 and 2 wanted a lot of me time, read a book, do your own thing. They also wanted good food, but they're going to order it in, right? So it's not, if food is a de-stressor, both are using food as a de-stressor, but one is using it as a group activity, one is using it as solitary activity. So again, we have two preference styles here of I and E. So where is the source of energy coming from? So in extroversion, it comes from the outside world. In introversion, it comes from the inside world. So if we look at extroversion, there are these people who prefer direct and receive energy from the outer world. So they love to interact with the outside world, outside people, things that are happening, and their energy or their energy to bounce back comes from there. People who have introversion, they prefer and receive energy from the inner world. So they rather be alone, not with people. So that's how they would like to be. So an extrovert would prefer action over reflection. Let's go out. Let's go for a movie. Let's go to eat Italy. Let's go for lunch. Let's meet others. Let's do this together. They speak in order to think. They enjoy the background noise and they don't mind interruptions. They prefer to speak when they have to communicate, and they can share their thoughts freely. While on the other hand, if you look at the introversion preference style, they prefer reflection and thinking over action. And they will always think before they act. They like peace and quiet. They don't like interruptions. They prefer written communications. They guard their thoughts till they're almost perfect. So they don't share it very freely. They consider and think deeply before they talk. They know what is going on inside as well as around them. They like working alone or with one or two people, and they're very happy staying in the background. While extroversion preference style likes to put themselves in the center. They enjoy working in groups. They're tuned to what is going on around them more than what is going on inside them. And they're quick to act and respond to the external world. So again, two different preference styles. So if we put these four alphabets together, you'll get different types of preference styles. You may get a ESTJ, you may get INFP, and there are 16 of those styles. And we described what each of those alphabets means. Now, I want you to take a moment and think that, do you think the alphabets that describe you really describe you? Or do some people feel, no, that this doesn't describe me, that there is a mistake? You may have filled this in a hurry, or maybe this was not such a good test. We don't know. So if anybody who feels that it doesn't actually match what they think they are, then please put your hand up.
Ma'am, can you explain intuition again?
Okay. So if you have to take in information, you walk in a room, you may say, okay, there are 5 chairs, they are pink in color, there's a table in the corner, and there is a red wall, and there is a painting of a Mona Lisa over there. That's sensing, all right? Intuition is you walk in the room and you say, hey, this is a colorful room. People seem to be liking colors. So they're not only looking at facts and figures, they're looking at the meaning that comes beyond facts and figures. Has that made sense to you?
Yeah. Because I think then it fits 100% of what I am.
So I'm trying to actually look at the hands which say it doesn't fit. And I'm trying to see that again, that I've not missed anybody. All right, so everybody thinks that it describes them, right? 6 participants have raised their hand. So let's hear them. Can you speak up?
Devi Prasad here, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Actually, I think I am introvert type, because I don't usually involve or come to the limelight. I'll be always working in the background. So I enjoy that. I don't want to be in the stage or in the mainstream. But
and you came out as E.
Yeah, but now it has come as E.
All right. So I'll come to why that could. We'll discuss that a little more. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody else who wants to talk about how it is different?
Yes, ma'am. This is Ashwin.
Yeah, Ashwin.
I got from the test, I got it as intuition, and after going through the through the examples you gave, I thought I'm more sensing than intuitive. So that was the only difference I found. The other three seem to fit.
And this is Kathleen.
Yeah.
This is Kathleen, ma'am. I think it's the same thing as Ashwin, actually. Even I have come as an N, but even I feel that I'm more of an S.
All right. Anybody else who has a different thing?
Yes, ma'am. Shabina here. And ma'am, I have JSTI. So out of 4, 3 are okay. But for as far as thinker and feeler is concerned, I think I'm more of a feeler than a thinker. And for the typical example which we discussed for the student, I will probably feel about the student rather than, thinking what should be right or wrong. And I generally, I generally don't go by that this is right, this is wrong. I generally, whatever I feel is right, I would do that.
All right. Okay. So now I know some more have raised their hands and I'll come to them and I want to go further and explain why these differences could have come. One is, of course, the random way of, writing the ticking in a hurry or thinking too much and then answering this question. That is one aspect of it. But to tell you that second part of it, that even when we say that, say you are an INFP and there could be 2 people who are INFPs, there are these 2 people who are INFPs. But even within each, the amount one is towards one side can vary. For example, I also has 4 subparts. We don't have that subtest, which is part 2, which tells us the different things that are there. So you could be very high on one part and somebody else could not have any of those parts. See, both these are I. This is I and this is I. But this person in the second one is completely here on this aspect of I, while this person is just a little on the border of I. So within that groups also there could be that. For example, if you are worrying about say N and S, you may be on the borderline, maybe just a little bit to the right or a little to the left. So therefore then your thing comes here and maybe just answering a little bit here or there could have tipped your balance. Understood? Does that make sense? Unless you are way out intuitive and you've come as sensor, then you have to really relook at how you answer those questions, or maybe this is not as good a test. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So once that you've realized that you could be, there could be 2, I am an, I could be any of these things. I am an ENTP, but me as an ENTP and another person as ENTP may not be equal, right? We have different yet variations in us. So what is the advantage of this? Okay, so we have understood ourselves that, okay, I do this. So one thing that I can think of is, that if I'm doing this and if I'm making decisions, I want to make good decisions. So if I have to make good decisions, how do I use all 4 aspects of it? Even if it is not my preference type, how do I use it so that I make good decision making? So the good decision making is the Z model of decision making. Is first use your sensing. Sensing means get all the facts and data. Be very specific, get all the relevant details and be very clear. This is the situation. After you've got the details, use your intuition. What are the possibilities? Let your imagination run wild, think about it, brainstorm, consider what are the possible solutions that are there. So use your intuition. Then use your thinking and logic. What is the pros and cons of each of the decisions that I make? What would I do if I had to advise somebody? What are the consequences of all of this? And then finally, what does your gut or your feeling tell you? Okay? What is it that tells you? And how do you feel about it? What is your hunch? So use all of these and then make a decision. It will help you in getting a better decision than going by only one single preference style. So now where can you use it? Where do you think you would use this kind of information of understanding yourself? Does anybody have any thoughts how they would use this?
Ma'am, at the workplace. At the workplace, ma'am.
Yeah.
So how would you
when situation of conflict with other staff?
Probably it is going to give me to judge me my weakness and strength also in a particular situation. It's going to help in that.
So understanding yourself and how you would behave in a certain way, okay? As a leader, how you would behave, yes?
In interpersonal interactions, when we are working in a team,
exactly,
it can be better.
Yeah. So if you can also guess what is the other person's style, preference style, you know how to work in it. And one more thing is, like, suppose I'm working in a team and I am a P. I know that today is my talk and I may not get it ready. So if Chinmay is a J and he reminds me, Madam, 2 days are left, you've not got your breakout rooms ready. So if I'm in a team, if I know what are my weaknesses, I should balance it with other people who have other strengths. And so in any group, if it is a good thing, we don't want only one style. We want diverse things coming together. Therefore, getting people together is very important. Even in healthcare, patients and doctor relationship, you know, doctor and student relationship, in teaching, in communication, in all these areas, understanding yourself would be very useful. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. People are different. You may like to make quick decisions. Somebody might like to look at more opportunities. So being able to understand and accept each other is one of the most important things while working together and understanding yourself. I'm going to stop sharing and take the questions that are there because I can see some hands and messages have come in. So let me see. Yes, you've talked about patient treating using the Z model, understand why people are different, valued as a whole, ruling out medical reasons. Okay. And there were some hands that were here. I can see Rekha. Is that your hand up for now?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Ma'am, I just want to ask, like, when you are answering a question in the questionnaire, the response can differ according to situation. I may be different with my student, but I may be different with my friend. I mean, the situation can be more or less similar, but my response may be different as per the situation. So
when you were answering this question, I think they told you, don't think about it, use your natural method of doing. For example, you know, I am a T, but to a large extent, I may have been an F. But after doing psychiatry, I've learned to control my feelings so that I don't get involved with my patients all the time and use a little bit more logic. So, you know, one learns along the way also, and one does change along the way also. So the important thing in answering a questionnaire is not to think too much, which is the way I'm doing it. Just do naturally what you're doing. Of course, your preference style will change. When you are putting on the hat of a principal, teacher, whatever, you may learn to use different styles. But then what is your natural style is yet something which is very well defined. Yes?
Yes,
Professor Rupinder, would you like to ask a question? I see your hand up.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the session, ma'am. And it was really good and interactive. Just want to ask very important thing, ma'am. You saw so many combinations out of this. And what is the most important among all this now, which makes the leaders really in all these combinations?
No, so all combinations are good. So don't think that one is better than the other. All right, that is the first thing. The second thing is that middle two alphabets are very important because they decide your functioning style. So those are your functioning style. Leadership can be anywhere and can be developed anywhere. Usually they say that the four corners of that are more often for managers and leaders. But I have seen leaders in all the types and yet do everything. So I would not say that any one preference style gives a better leader.
Hinal, can I come in here?
Yes, please.
See, actually speaking, as Hinal said, nothing is wrong or right over here. Sometimes you have to tweak your own style. I am a very strong F, and that helped me a lot being a good administrator, because you don't immediately go in for punishing people, or you have that kind of, you want to help them. So that sort of a thing helps. So I think it's a good thing. Whatever your style is, it's good. But you have to tweak your styles. And in the group, your project, you must have different types of people. There is a person who reminds you, yes, the date is coming soon. So submission, Ashwini will ask you. So do it. There must be other people also. So you have to work in group.
Thank you. I see Vaibhav has raised his hand. Vaibhav, do you want to ask a question?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to ask that suppose some of the, where you lie exactly, there may be some parts which are negative or which are pulling you slightly down in your performance. Is it any way that you can improve? Like you said, when you went into psychiatry, you were able to control that feeling part of it. Now, sometimes what happens as an administrator, if you are too much into the feeling kind, people take advantage of the situations and maybe you're not able to deliver the right thing. Now here, how to improve?
So one is, I think, nothing is negative. That again, I keep reiterating because I really believe that this is not anything negative or positive or anything like that. But you can change your style. One is when you become conscious that this is your style. Then when you come into a situation, you know that my immediate reaction is to do that. Therefore, let me think about what are the rules that govern this, what is the pros and cons of it, which are the alternatives. So you pull back your F and you start thinking about T. So that is one way of doing it. But so that doesn't mean that T is better than F, all right? It just means that that moment maybe you want to use more of T.
Okay.
Awareness is the most important key for self-management. I can see Gaurang has put his hand up. Gaurang.
Yeah, ma'am. So I was just going to repeat mention what you just said, but in a different way. That, I think what is important, take home from this session is that there is no right and wrong, but we all have our individual personality types. So whenever a decision or a scenario comes, we need to be aware that, there can always be another dimension or another aspect to the way we are thinking or doing or feeling. So we need to be aware of that. That's for our own self. And second is from the other person's perspective also, where, when we are dealing with our seniors or our subordinates or our colleagues, just because they have a different opinion does not mean that they are right or wrong or in any other way, So the point is that there are different personality types, different people think and behave and act in different ways, and everything is okay and normal.
Excellent. Thank you, Gaurang. And these are preference styles. Okay. You are not alphabet. Remember that also. All right. Rahmat, you had your hand up.
One more thing. Yes, in a meeting, many a times when the, prelims, after prelims, you give the form, the thinkers, they always say that, there are no rules, the rules are bent, this like this. So you have to have a balance, not to completely get into them and do what they tell you. You again have to logically think, and then whatever is right, as you said, regarding the F, have to do it. We have faced this many a times because the thinkers think many a times wrongly think that they are the ones who are very objective and very good, and we are all partial.
All right. Rahmat, you wanted to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, how do we apply this for the classroom setup, ma'am? Like, should we go ahead with a test for the students also and to know about their personality, or it is only us?
So we need not see. We are not going to be able to do tests for everybody. But once you read a little bit more about it, and we'll give you some handouts, which I'll be sharing with Dr. Nagda and Gaurang and Chinmay, and they'll give you how to fastly assess what the style of that other person is. Quick understanding. So that will give you an understanding. And once you start thinking in this way, when you see people, you will realize, okay, this person is more of a sensor rather than an intuitive. So that will give you some idea. And we don't want to label people anyway. We just want to understand them. So it's not necessary to do everybody's test. All right.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Have I missed anybody's hand up?
Yes, me.
Yeah, please, Chinmay, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I just want to ask everybody that now, once we finish this session, try to correlate yesterday's session with today's session. What we learned yesterday is a SWOT analysis, and I think yesterday also we have learned that first thing is we must know. Then we try to modify it the same way as Madam has said. As today you all know that these are your leadership style. Now, once you are aware of your leadership style, work on it, and as per the need, I think we can change it. So try to correlate yesterday's session and today's session. So you will come to know more about yourself.
Excellent.
Am I right, madam?
Yeah, of course. I missed that session, but any SWOT analysis gives you understanding of yourself. And this is one other way of giving you understanding. So if you use it more comprehensively, always better for you. All right.
Thank you so much.
Most welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, before you close, the whole course is on they using this for themselves and also reflecting and writing their reflection. So if you can later on think over and in the group, in the mail or wherever, you can add a sort of a task for them to do, a very simple one.
Simple one,
yeah. Simple.
Definitely, I'll write it in the group.
Yes.
In that WhatsApp group.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll share some resources also.
You can do it on the LMS also, huh?
All right, I have not yet joined that LMS, so I will do that.
Okay, Chinmay will put it for you. It will put in the material. All of you are able to access the LMS properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Today morning for a few time it was problem, but now
it was
already there.
Yes, it
And,
was behind, I think.
Yeah.
Suspended, it was showing the
Yeah,
account.
and
is
today
suspended.
means I got a So I think day after tomorrow we have a special
give you a
session
login
of
and password, so you can at least try yourself. But it's so simple.
Yeah, I just need to do all of it. That's all.
Yeah.
So I'll get Chinmay to give me a login and a password.
Yeah. चिन्मय मैडम को भेजो, मैडम डालेगी, मैडम को बीच बीच में डालना है कुछ
Sure, definitely, madam. Definitely.
So we thank madam. Madam is our course advisor, a main course advisor actually. Not from today, from last 3 years I have been toying on the idea. So it's a big thank you to Hinal. And anybody wants to ask anything before we close down today?
Madam, I just want to add something.
Yes.
It's just a reflection, very immediate reflection, that I had an impression that a good administrator cannot be good to everyone. But I'm just rethinking now. That whether the statement is true or not.
Great.
Excellent.
Darshana is a PG director, huh?
No, ma'am, I'm just a student and everybody. No, ma'am. I really enjoy.
That if you can think about this and think of how to use it without pigeonholing people, but use it in your life and in your work. So with that, thank you. And
thank you so much.
Enjoy your dinner now, I guess.
Yes. Thank you so much. Amazing.
Thank you, ma'am. Very enlightened. Other sessions of yours, huh, Hinal?
Thank you, ma'am. Chinmay sir, you were telling about the next session.
Yeah, day after tomorrow, as we have discussed yesterday. So we have a 7:30 to 9:30. Only we will play with LMS.
Only LMS, only LMS, nothing else.
Nothing LMS.
Can we make it little shorter, ma'am?
Okay. Sure. We will finish in 1 hour.
Okay.
Darshana's daughter's wedding she's preparing.
So, ma'am, so many guests I have in the house.